Welcome to this edition of the Rick Helps Real Estate Show, where I recap what kind of week we just had in the Arizona real estate market and what a week it was. We finally had the election. It came, it went, so we came, we saw, we went. And now our direction is clear, about as clear as mud, and the market's kind of reflecting that. It was a very interesting week, and when it comes to the numbers in Arizona, it was a very slow week. The numbers in contracts went down to about 2,200. As you know, we've been hanging in there about 2,500. So people just took a break. Interest rates didn't. They're settling around 6.92 as of Friday. But prior to that, the day after the election, and I have to tell you, it surprised me, they spiked up to 7.115. And so it was kind of a head shaker for me. It's like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And but it went up and then it came back down. So we knew the week was going to be volatile. And it certainly was. Next week, we've got some CPI numbers coming out. We have what the heck else is coming out? It's not right here where it was just a second ago. Looking at Chairman Powell here, and he's talking, they said Federal Reserve cuts interest rates by 25 basis points. We knew that. But it's interesting here that says, notably, the central bank removed language from its September statement that it had gained greater confidence that inflation was moving towards 2% target. They always dissect his words whenever they have these news conferences, and they took that out of the language, which is interesting. They had greater confidence in September, perhaps not so much now. Among other tweaks, the Fed removed the word further in the first paragraph of its statement when discussing progress made on bringing down inflation, saying that the inflation had simply made progress towards the Fed's objective. Doesn't sound like they're as confident that they're hitting their target as fast as they thought they would, does it? I mean, and that's kind of the Fed speak, is that they really concentrate on every word. When they write this statement, each month they go in and they go, do we leave this? Do we take this out? And you can see that they've taken out a couple words there that instill in me that perhaps they're not as confident. Now, many of the people during the press conference really tried to nail him and pin him down about what they thought was going to be like working with Trump and what's Trump going to do with him. And he just said, I'm not answering any political questions. I have a mandate by Congress, and that's what I'm going to do. So he didn't jump into that sandbox. Good for him. Here in Arizona, active listings, which I have said were going to start coming down last week, they did not. Now, according to my 7-day moving average, it looks like they may go straight a little bit, but I just don't see anything on the horizon that says that we're going to buck this seasonal trend. They went up here because sales took a big hit. So that remains to be seen. That number will be updated Monday morning, and we'll take a look at it later on in the week. But this is the number prior to the election. So I don't see inventory hanging there very high. Cromford Demand and Supply Index, I showed this before. The lines have crossed. In other words, supply is now greater than demand as far as the index goes. That means that selling right now is a little tougher. And in certain price points, it can be very hard. I'm seeing a lot of price reductions across the board, especially anywhere between 400 and 800,000. The only price point that's not getting its rear end kicked is between about 1.5 and 2 million. They seem to be doing okay. And after the week that the stock market had this week, I would suspect that they're probably still going to do okay. It's interesting. I was having a conversation with a gentleman. I was attending a little soiree down in Sun Lakes over the weekend, sitting outside enjoying the weather under the patio heater, believe it or not. And he looked at me and he said, boy, I'm told listings here in Sun Lakes are at an all-time high. And he says, we have 105. And I said, well, that's not an all-time high. He goes, oh, that's what my realtor friend told me. And I said, well, it's a lot higher than that. We're actually kind of about average, and he was kind of shocked by it. And the all-time high for Sun Lakes was set in 2006 at 323. So we're way below that, and that story continues all the way across the valley. Remember, we peaked at 58,600 listings, somewhere around there. Don't quote me, I haven't looked it up again, but We peaked at 58,000 and we're at 21,008 now today, much higher than what we have been. But at one point, Sun Lakes during 2021, which I call the silly season, had a total of 9 available homes for sale. So when you experience that and now you see 105, you feel like your neighborhood's being flooded with listings. And that's what I'm seeing over and over again. There was a comment made to me that said, I hear rates are down to 4.5. Well, the federal funds rate is down to 4.5. So people, you need to be really up to speed on what the real numbers are if you're making a decision on buying and selling. So try not to just gloss over some of those and feel like mortgage rates are now down to 4.5. Let's go, because I just saw an article on the news that said the central bank lowered rates to 4.5. Well, they did, but you got to look at actual mortgage rates. So we experienced that when the news came out and said the central banks lowered their overnight rate to 0. People were calling lenders and saying, how do I get this 0% mortgage? So there's a lot of just looking at a headline and jumping out and asking for a decision and or trying to get that product. Sometimes that product's not there. So do a little homework. Listing success rate is going down. This is, I listed my house. Yay, I got a contract. Well, no, I didn't. It's going down. It goes down seasonally. You can see here, this was 2021 where the listing success rate stayed above 90% for a long time. And now we're sitting here at about 72%. And in 2022, we were down much lower, and we're still lower than 2023. But it's not encouraging for sellers, but it's not dire. Active listings. Here's where I was talking about here in Sun Lakes that I just showed you. I thought I'd compare it to you. Here's 2024. We had 88 listings today. And if I go back to 2006, we had a peak of 336, 327, 330. And down in 2021, they had 9. And you can see that across the board, no matter where you want to go. If you want to go here, let's say we're going to go to just Phoenix. And Phoenix right now has 3,363. 2006, they had 7,242. They got to a low of 577. So that's why prices were going up as high as they were. This here is your listings under contract compared weekly. And you can see it's kind of hard to see, but we're matching right at those 2022 levels. Everything we're seeing says we're just exactly like 2022. And so it makes prognostication of where we think we're going to end up much easier. You don't have to be much of a soothsayer to figure out what's going on. Couple numbers coming out this week that may move the market a little bit, but it looks like outside of CPI, I don't see anything coming that's going to spook mortgage markets, and there isn't any political stuff coming out that's going to spook it. That mess is all over. Good news is for realtors, you've got room to put your open house signs up now. They're clearing all the campaign signs off the intersections, and it's much nicer watching television now, isn't it? So I hope everybody starts out by having a great night. Look forward to talking to you next week. Have a great day. Any questions, please shoot me an email at rick@rickhelps.com. Take care.